Oh shit, it's coming out tonight. Oh my god. Holy shit. Oh my god. It's coming out tonight. Oh fuck, I gotta make a little thumbnail. I gotta fucking do my laundry. Gotta wash my dick. Definitely gonna do a Spider-Man photo shoot. Get pictures of his ass and his dick in very compromising positions. Yeah, yeah. Oh, the Starfield review. Oh shit. Angry Joe. God damn it. I forgot to watch it yesterday. Fuck. Damn, God, tonight's so fucking packed. I got the Vosh stream to finish. I got Angry Joe. I'll rewatch Angry Joe. I'll listen to the audio, but I'll rewatch for the video later.
Hey guys, Starfield review is done. Over a month and a half.
Let's
I
go.
played this game. Hundreds of hours of footage to go through. It took a while, but it...
Wait. Man said hundreds of hours. Oh, I think he meant just on the review.
Hey guys, Starfield review is done. Over a month and a half I played this game. Hundreds of hours of footage to go through.
Hundreds of hours of footage. Holy shit.
It took a while, but it's here. Thank you to you guys for supporting.
He
Thank
did play it for hundreds of hours.
Continuing to sponsor us. We got...
Or I think maybe he has footage from his buddies or his friends playing too. So it could be like combined. Hundreds of hours.
Jason, we got Chucky, we got Freddy, Halloween flavors. It goes directly to supporting our show. Use our promo code down below. Grab yourself some. It'll help us out.
Let's go, baby.
And, yeah. Also, I had this crazy idea. I met this guy from GeekNationTours.com. He was thinking about
What the
throwing
fuck?
an Angry Joe Geek
Oh.
guided tour.
Oh, Sentinels.
So I was wondering,
Fuck.
would you go on vacation with us? Like, we're talking...
Hold up. Sentinels. I got you, boys. Where they at? Fucking pussies. You goddamn bitch. Get the fuck out of here. Nope. Deleted. Deleted. Show me your nuts. Show me that dick. I'm embarrassing you. This is sad. Get the fuck out of here. He's trying to repair himself. Where are you going, bitch? Fucking pussy. Stop flying around. Forces retreating. You're goddamn right. You're welcome, Gex. Thank me later with a lengthy hand job. There we go. I'll get a double Gex handy. Atlantidium. Nanites. Found a way better way of getting nanites. Or at least enough nanites for like exosuit mod upgrades. Nothing to increase ship. I gotta find a way to increase ship cargo fast. Maybe there's an easy way to get like ship cargo tokens or some shit. Hold on, Joe. Hold on. I'm looking forward to your review, but I have some gameplay. Adds feature Apple Curiosity Synth. Come along. Yay! He's happy. Cost reduced by what? Oh, fucking nice. We're making $1 million a day. Our maintenance cost is only 70,000. Jesus Christ, you'd think we're running a slave sweatshop here. And they're at 81% happiness. They're happy too. I love my town. Grew it all the way from a C class or a B class settlement all the way to an A. Love these guys. Alright, let's back to a joke.
Expensive, like thousands of dollars. We only need 8 people to make it a
Jesse
reality. We'll go hang
Blizztop.
out for like 10 days together, visit a country, do activities, play games, visit castles, visit, you know,
this,
sightseeing
all of that.
together.
Hey,
We were thinking about
you-
renting a bus, and your rooms would be taken care of, and all these activities taken care of. I just, because that's
Fuck
a
a
lot of
couple of
money,
double
thousands and
goals.
thousands of dollars. You just align your vacation plans with our vacation plans. So if that sounds like something you would be interested in, if you can leave a comment or tweet at me or email the Terrace who puts together the tours for us at this email address down below, or email me. We just need, like I said, 8 people, I think, to get it going, and I just think it would be cool to hang like this kind of private Angry Joe group. Well, private, we would invite anybody, and go hang out together and experiencing something together.
Oh, we're done.
Let me know if you think it's a good idea or a bad idea or whatever. Just gauge an interest to see how many of you might want to go on vacation together and in 2024. You know, this is not anytime soon, so don't feel rushed. And I just was kind of curious because I want to get back out there and you know, do some activities together. So thought it would be cool. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and you're about to meet the most notorious criminal in all of the Starfield universe. Check it out.
Wait, there's a mistake. There has to be. I don't belong with these people.
Look at that new fucking. Listen, fish. There's a hierarchy in here, and I'm the number 2 man. You got it?
Okay.
15
Yeah.
minutes of space piracy.
Oh.
17 murders.
What?
I scuttled the school bus.
You did
But he's the top dog.
him?
227 murders. Men, women, and children. So, meat. What are you in for?
Well, you see, I took a sip from another man's drink.
This guy's hardcore.
Holy shit, dude, this guy's dark.
Yeah, that's right. They call me Drink Stealing Joe. I sip and drink. I sip and drink right now. I don't care. I sip it real good, you see? I sip it anybody's drink. It ain't even mine. I drink it, it's not even mine, and I drink it.
It's unsanitary. There could be like spit in there. Gross.
Joe the sip drinking, drink sipper. That's what they call me. Drink Stealing Joe.
Warden.
Drink stealing Joe.
I'll sip your drink. I'll sip your drink right now.
You're supposed to protect me.
Don't make eye contact. Don't look at him.
I sip it. I sip it real good now. Give me your drinks, bitch.
He turned into like a southern. I'll sip it real good now. I'll sip that asshole. Sip all the juices out that booty hole. Real fast. Drain you of blood.
Yeah, we made fun of Mass Effect Andromeda for your face is tired. You bet your ass we're gonna go after
Yeah.
Starfield with the same shit 6 years later.
To who? To whom? And your goddamn father. Sorry, my face is tired from dealing with everything.
Hell, I'd even say some of the faces are better in that game than they are here in Starfield.
No.
It's cliche, but it's true.
No, don't do it, Joe. No.
Sheesh.
Hello, traveler. How can I help you?
Yeah, I'm here to purchase a ship. I killed a bunch of people. I took their money, and then I'm ready to buy a new. Do you mind looking at me when I'm talking to you, please?
I am looking at you.
Turn around and face me so that I know I'm engaging with somebody face to face. Please. Oh God.
What is wrong with your face?
Sorry, my face is a little tired, but I'm fine.
Your face is how? How, after all of this time, is your face still tired?
Oh, hello, traveler. How can I help you?
You know what? I can't even take you seriously. I'm just gonna go somewhere else.
Hello, traveler. How can I help you?
Look, after the disaster that was Fallout 76, Bethesda desperately needed a win, and everyone knew it.
All of this just works. It's not, I'm not kidding. Go where you want, do whatever you want. And again, it just works.
Here, their first new franchise, 25 years in the making according to them, with nearly 8 years of active development. Well, it's out now.
You are a sight for sore eyes.
Easily defeated.
Before Spacers broke into the outpost, I was relaying. Torres ain't bad as far as COs go.
Enemy activity in the area has ceased.
And after having put a full month into the game, I can confidently say that it's not as bad as Fallout 76. Hey! We did it! Woo-hoo! That's something. Congratulations. However, it's also a pretty big disappointment. Wait, what? Oh, were we celebrating too early? Yes, because this game has flaws. Huge flaws. That's when I was like, oh, fuck. What do you mean got some business with the Rangers? You said to follow you. So here's what happened.
Oh,
She's could not
This
get
asshole.
past this guy, and he was melding through the fucking. Like, who is that? Is he supposed to be there? What? Who is it? I
Yeah,
have
that's what it says
never.
right here. Look.
This is a fucking Bethesda game, bro. I have never had to do this.
there you go. Hey, you did it. Problem solved.
Wow.
Now you
I have
get
to
the
fucking
shit.
Developer console command. Break all the achievements so I can fucking actually do my fucking quest. Like, from a long time ago, from their other games, yet still here in a completely new game, a decade later. Those kind of flaws.
In fact, I know some folks that are allowed to set up their.
Oh man, I gotta watch this. I can't like listen to it. Oh, look at Losh. Sharky.
Things got so bad that Sean Hannity, one of Vivek Ramaswamy's biggest glazers, has now completely turned on him. Look at this.
I forgot the video.
Wait, let me check this clip, a little video that they played, to see if there's any like, I don't know, dead Gazan children or something.
One of the things I loved about that interview with Tucker, one of the things I loved about that interview with Tucker was we were actually able to have a thoughtful conversation and go deep into issues rather than this kind of political gotcha.
The point is this: you go on these interviews. Yeah, I have nothing but nice things to say. But here's your problem:
People should
you go
watch it.
on these shows, people quote your exact words, and you deny your own words. And I'm saying if you're going to be a presidential candidate and you're going to spend, I'm going to give you your exact words.
The girls are
Either
fighting.
own it
Sean, you have been
or
sitting here for
pull it
years
back.
talking about the fake news media.
But you played this all the
Sean,
time.
I'm enjoying this. You have been laughing about the fake news media how many times for the last several years, and now you're buying the mainstream media narrative when you know how corrupt it is.
I am
This is a
following
corrupt
you.
game.
I am
The
quoting
super
your
PAC
exact
puppets
words.
are a problem.
Did I not quote your exact
About
words?
Azerbaijan and Armenia.
Did I or did I not quote your exact words?
That's crazy.
Did I quote your
Azerbaijan
exact
and
words?
Armenia, absolutely.
Thank you.
About
Goodbye.
Azerbaijan, yes,
I got
you did.
time to go.
About a
Thank you.
different topic,
Thank you.
Azerbaijan, where people should actually get their own information rather than filter through centralized
I
media.
think it's
Just
asinine
goodbye.
to think somebody that worked in the defense industry should not be qualified to be president. I think people that never held public office, like you, maybe they're not qualified to be president. Anyway, we'll come back. We'll continue. Secretary of State, former Secretary.
Not the Secretariat of State. Holy shit, the fighting's crazy. Why Hannity's neck looks like that? That's where the demon that puppets his body around now resides. That's mostly where it is. And this is right off the bat of Tucker and Vivek having like a little huddle circle about why we shouldn't be supporting Israel or not jump into a war with Israel, right? Which I will tell you, one of the only things I've ever heard Tucker say that's good, which is that we shouldn't hop into a war with Israel. It's because almost all of Israel's wars are just genuinely plainly evil, but also, but yeah, there's much more than that, honestly. All of this has led to Ben Shapiro making his, what the fuck is this? Now I haven't checked up on Ben Shapiro, but Ben Shapiro is a well-known like super racist. Ben Shapiro wrote articles about how he wants all Gazans murdered. Ben Shapiro wrote articles about how like he thinks all Arabs are simply intellectually and humanitarianly below all Jewish people, just period, except for what he calls the bad Jews in his personal opinion. He like streamed this a couple like days ago. Sorry, like a couple hours ago. The video's called "They're Here," and the thumbnail is of like is of people holding the like Palestinian flag. Who's they? Bro's actually they and them posting. He's like Echoes posting about Muslims. What the fuck's happening? What is this world that we live in?
Oh
to be a
shit.
little bad person? Literally always has been. They're here.
That all cultures are at root the same in quality and beauty and truth. It is a lie. That lie is dangerous. That lie leads to moral blindness. As we've been discussing the last few days, it leads to atrocities, murdered babies, raped women, kidnappings, beheadings. It leads to death. It leads to carnage. But multiculturalism doesn't just excuse evil abroad.
Holy shit. Wait. Wait. He's going on a full Nazi rant. Oh my gosh, he's going on his full Nazi rant. It's here. Oh my gosh. He can't take it anymore. He's just straight up like it's time to wipe Arabs off the face of the earth. Holy shit, he's doing it. Yeah, how he said Israelis love to build and Arabs love to bomb shit and live in open sewage, end quote. That's crazy. Okay, well, we're gonna have to watch this one here in a bit, but we have so much stuff to watch and get through that I can't even, we can't even get through that one right now. Okay, wait, we're here. I found it. Oh boy, we found it. We've done it. Ben Shapiro goes right after Tucker. All right, well, here we are.
And don't give a includes you don't like Jews.
Excuse me.
That's what's in that conversation.
All right.
And sad to say, but this kind of pseudo-sophisticate point of view has also been mirrored by Tucker Carlson. So Tucker sets up straw men and then burns them to the ground. So he played a clip of Nikki Haley. Nikki was talking, presidential candidate Nikki Haley, she was talking about how Israel has every duty to eviscerate Hamas. She has not called for an invasion of Iran. She has called for removing $6 billion in funding that America has cleared for Iran. She has called for more sanctions on Iran. She's not called for a ground invasion or American troops to be used against Iran. But watch as Tucker spins this into, well, the only reasonable point of view is to basically go hands off on this whole thing, even morally. Yeah, sure, it's bad, but is it as bad as like things happening in the United States? So here is Tucker finding the morally ambiguous line here.
Wait a second, you all agreed with this when it came to Ukraine. That was literally all of your points when it came to Ukraine. All of you believe this when it came to Ukraine or any other war happening. What's happening, buddy? What's going on? That's crazy.
Somehow.
This is not just an attack on Israel. This is an attack on America because they hate us just as much. And what we have to understand is this is the reason that we have to unite around making sure our enemies do not hurt our friends. America can never be so arrogant to think we don't need friends, just like we needed them on 9/11. That's why Ukraine needs us when Russia's doing this. That's why Israel needs us when Hamas and Iran are doing this. And I'll say this to Prime Minister Netanyahu, finish them. Finish them. Hamas did this. You know Iran's behind it. Finish them. They should have hell to pay for what they've just done.
This was finish them. What the fuck? She's talking like a goddamn Mortal Kombat announcer?
I was just thinking that Mortal Kombat. Finish him.
What you want to do? I mean, like, it's hard to read.
We need Mortal Kombat. We need law.
to Iran, don't you think?
Mortal
attack
law
on America,
combat.
she says, when in fact it was not. And for that reason, we must, quote, finish Iran, a nation of nearly 90 million people. What are we
That is
watching?
not quote.
This is not so.
That's a paraphrase, a wrong paraphrase.
She's a child.
No, you did say finish. No, that's actually, I'm not gonna lie, that's wrong. She did say finish them. Take out Hamas, finish them. Finish Hamas, yes. Finish Iran. That's behind this, yes. Unless you mean Iran's government, which would mean bombing and mean like possibly the deaths of a good chunk of those 90 million people. Yes, that's true. That is what you believe. No. She said finish them. Oh, finish them. I see. Okay. Like they're Finnish, you know, like that small country right next to Russia. Make them finish.
Finish them, man.
Is what they really.
She was
meant,
talking.
you know.
She was talking in a Jamaican accent.
And this is the tantrum of a child. Ignorant, cocksure, bloodthirsty.
Finish them,
Yet no one
man.
in Washington scolded
Bloodthirsty.
her.
Nikki Haley.
In fact, they aped her hysteria.
Yes.
They aped her. It's hysteria now.
Yes.
All she said is that Netanyahu should finish off Hamas, and he calls that bloodthirsty.
And Iran.
Propagandistic nonsense here from Tucker. He's better than
You was gonna
It's
forget that she
pathetic
talked about
when you
Iran?
engage in this sort of nonsense. Truly. He's a smart person. And either he thinks you're stupid or he's engaging in stupidity. I don't know which it is. And Tucker, by the way, then continued along these lines. He did an interview with Vivek Ramaswamy, and he likened what just happened in Israel, the kidnapping of women and their rape. I mean, he's showing video of this happening, like as he's talking about this. He compared that to drug overdose deaths in the United States. Now, I believe we should fully care about the 100,000 drug overdose deaths that happen in the United States. These are two completely different issues. To go this far afield to link the issues, the only reason you're doing this is because you wish to downplay the atrocity that just happened in Israel. You're not upplaying the atrocity of what's happening on American streets. Those are two different types of atrocities. People who are addicted to fentanyl, sticking needles in their arms and overdosing is a moral blight. It is a moral atrocity and a moral evil for people to kidnap women, rape them, and drag them back to the Gaza border. Those are not the same thing. And Tucker knows that. But this is a cheap way of...
Listen, Ben, you don't understand. He doesn't give a fuck about foreigners. He doesn't get it. Ben doesn't care about foreigners, especially if they're brown. All right? It does not matter. They're not in the U.S., and they're not going to pay his bills, and they don't watch his show, so he doesn't care about them. And even those people he has very little care for. But yeah, no, like, of course he doesn't want to help them. Of course he's just, with anything that they'll say, he's just going to say instead, why should I care? When we have problems here already, to every problem. That's external to us. This isn't surprising of this happening.
Also doesn't fuck with Jewish people either.
Now he's the person on his knees begging for more help, begging for more aid.
telling you not to look. Don't look. Stop caring. Because after all, what does it matter? What does it matter? Now, again, I don't know who thinks that that's a sophisticated point of view, especially when nobody is calling for America to go to war with Iran. The entire purpose of having an aircraft carrier in the Mediterranean is to avoid that. But here is Tucker playing, I don't even know the game he's playing. This is just it's a dumb game.
No, dumb boy, dumb game.
You don't have to look far in the United States for moral outrages also on video. And there's not a city in this country, not just the big cities, but cities with 10,000 people, I was in one yesterday, that doesn't have some constellation of drug-addicted young people living outside. We call them the homeless. They're drug addicts. And they're addicted to drugs that were imported across the
What's that have to do with the price of tea in China? I don't understand.
More than 100,000 a year. Now, you could call it...
Oh my gosh, Ben Shapiro is watching Republicans do their own tactics, but back to him. And bro's flabbergasted. He's watching his own tactics be used against him, and my man is flabbergasted. He's like, I can't, what's going on? I can't believe this. What, how could they just say this? What, that doesn't make any sense. Oh wait, you're just not caring about other people? You're telling me you don't care about other people? No, they don't. They never did. It was a lie, Ben, and you know it is. And you know for a fact that it is. You've seen it. You've done it. They're hitting him with the reverse Uno card, and he fell to his knees. Where are you with this amount of care for any other group of people abroad? Ever? I'm not saying that you shouldn't care about the people in Israel who've been harmed. You should. But care more about them and other people. Don't you? This is what happens when you have when you have one moral code that says fuck everybody else. I got mine, and when I don't have mine, wait a second. Why am I at the back of the line?
Genocide, you can call it whatever you want, but it's the death of over 100,000 Americans a year and the living death of millions.
Well, you can't call it genocide. It's not genocide.
So sure. You could
price of tea in China. I don't understand.
More than 100,000 a year. Now, you could call it genocide. You can call it whatever you want, but it's the death of over 100,000 Americans a year and the living death of millions.
Well, you can't call it genocide. It's not genocide.
So,
bro, he's blinking so angrily. Listen, I'll tell you this right now. The reason why he calls it genocide is because he thinks it's the drug companies purposefully giving poor white boys these drugs to eradicate the Caucasian genetic genome in the United States, leading to America being controlled by browns by the year 2030.
So I don't understand.
I'm sorry, people who are addicted to drugs and living outside
Israel. And again, I want to add my voice to that because I'm a human being. But
sure you do.
The
you sound very outraged.
The outrage among Republican presidential candidates was so much more intense. One of them took to a bullhorn and started yelling about it. I get it, but no one would think to do that about the 100,000 American young people murdered every year. And they
because who are you yelling at? Who are you yelling at? First of all, people.
The drug companies, other politicians.
People are on bullhorns yelling about drug overdoses and the open border all the time. All the time. What is he even talking about? What he's attempting to do is minimize what happened in Israel. He's not attempting to maximize what happened in the United States. He's attempting to minimize, as though America can't walk and chew gum, morally speaking, at the same time. Which is
well, because we don't. We don't walk or chew gum, morally speaking, like 90% of the time. 90% of the time. So yeah, it's quite hard to do them both at the same time. Yeah, we can't. You're right, we can't. Oh my gosh, he's been taking over.
It's absurd, and those two things are nothing alike. I'm sorry, that is not alike. It is not alike for drug smugglers to smuggle drugs over the border, which someone then takes and shoves into their arm and then they die of an overdose. That is not the same thing. I promise you, it is not the same thing as a terrorist breaking into your home and murdering your children in their beds in front of you and dragging your wife off to be raped in Gaza. That is not the same thing. Pretending that it is immoral. It's a moral blight. It's idiocy. It's just moral stupidity at the highest level. Of course we should care about what happens with fentanyl. Of course we should care about, we should close our border. Have I been unclear about this? Of course America should have closed borders when it comes to this sort of stuff. I'm on the same side as Tucker on that. I just don't understand why he's not on my side when it comes to Hamas has to be wiped off the face of the earth. What exactly is the counter argument? In any case,
cry
sort
then.
Of moral sophistication.
Cry.
Is predicated.
How in the world do you even begin wiping Hamas off the face of the earth? How's that work? Is it what Israel's doing right now? He just never wants to come to grips with the fact of why Israel and Gaza are in this situation to begin with. All right.
On only one of a few possible hypotheses. The most dark and terrible is the possibility that people just don't give a damn when Jews get killed by terrorists. I'm not accusing Tucker of that. I'm not accusing Whitlock of that.
Why are you
In
green?
fact, I'm not even accusing the AOCs of the world of that. Although I think she's closer to the border, considering the only tweet she has sent in this entire ridiculous situation is a tweet finding one Jew in New York saying a bad thing that the Israeli government does not even carry forth.
Cry,
That's
Ben.
the only thing she seems to tweet about this.
No, there's like also stuff about what the Israeli government is doing about like blowing up children, but that's once again like he just doesn't even want to talk. It's too inconvenient. It's too inconvenient to talk about. Just don't say it. Those children were Hamas. That's true. That's true. The 500 like the give or take 500 children blown to pieces in Gaza we're all crazy Hamas supporters and voters as you see. And the crazy thing about it is that this isn't even something that like the take that Tucker has, right? And the take that other people have that like Israel is breeding terrorism against them with their actions towards a group of people who have no recourse to escape their suffering is not even a position that's just held by people in the West or whatever. It's a position held by like reporters and journalists even in Israel. Even in Israel, there are reporters like Israel's largest newspapers are carrying opinion pieces that a lot of people are talking about how this is still a creation of their own making, this suffering of their own creation, because they have the power to start it and they had the power to stop it, right? And this isn't something that like is only like a even like a diasporic, okay? Even like diasporic Jewish people in like America and Europe and like Africa and in the Middle East or whatever that aren't in Israel, you know, believe. These people also are suffering, you know? These people also have family members there, more likely than not, or like know people who are there, or at least been there, who have some connection to what's going on. There are other Jewish people out there, many ultra-Orthodox Jewish people who are very against what's happening right now. Here's this, which is the IDF going into a neighborhood in Jerusalem, trying to tear down a Palestinian flag put up by like rabbis and Jewish practitioners and everybody there, and they clash with the IDF soldiers for what they're doing. Look at this. He can't get it down. He throws it down. Well, they stomp on it. They fight back. Not everybody in Israel is like pro-IDF. Honestly, a good chunk of them are. A good plurality of them are. Israel's state subjecting these people to like a permanent state of suffering and fear of terrorism formed by their own government isn't something that goes well with everybody living there. I'm sorry, Ben. I'm sorry. I hate to be the one to tell you this. Not everybody thinks more terrorism in the face of terrorism solves problems. It's a beautiful thing. Fuck off. Had to deal with fascism once, they don't want it a second time. It's crazy how people who spend the most of the time reading up on the religion that the entire state is built off of are the ones who have the least amount of support for the IDF. It's crazy how that works. It's remarkable how that works out, don't you think? Oh, and this is great. This shit is also fantastic. All right, this shit is also fantastic from people like Dave Rubin. I know we haven't talked about Dave Rubin.
Yeah, his ACAB shirt is fire.
His brain honestly is in recovery mode from taking in so many low-level ideas. So this is what he tweeted a while ago. Peaceful protest is now illegal in Canada. Wonder what happens in a society that doesn't allow citizens to congregate and air their grievances freely. And the idea is Jordan Peterson. And then he says his quote from his book. I'm a free speech absolutist, yes. When it comes to opinions, I find abhorrent. Even when it comes to opinions, I find abhorrent. In fact, specifically when it comes to opinions, especially when it comes to those opinions, no exceptions ever. Anyways, me and Bestie censorship. France has just banned pro-Palestinian protests, and bro goes, maybe the West has a chance. Bro, you're nobody. You have no opinions. You're a walking sack with a $sign on it begging for money. That's all you are. Stop pretending you're anything else. I hate you. I hate you, bro. There are few people I hate in this world more than this man and people like him. But it's just they can't stop. They never had any opinions. And I love when these types of situations happen and they speak, because we can see it with our own eyes that they have no opinions, that they have no thoughts that go in their head besides what can make them the most amount of money. That's it. This is why we never gave them the real respect of being pro-free speech. They never have been. They're pro-speech as long as they can speak and as long as they can force you to listen and forcefully have your eyes on them, until the second that breaks, then the second that they have the power from that speech that we gave them, boom, they take it away. Instantly. Instantly. This is why they cheer on right-wing governments putting in far-right anti-press, anti-free speech policies, because they never believed them to begin with. They love them here because if not for those policies being so lax as we have them here in the States, then these people would be in jail for what they say. They'd be in jail for what they promote. And in some countries, there's a great argument that they should be in jail, and for a long time. But when this happens, when other people start speaking in ways that they disagree with, no matter the most freest speeches, absolutist boy, on the conservative right, there's going to be this thought overwhelming in their head that says, throw my political opponents in jail. And sometimes it just gets out and it runs the show. And sometimes they can suppress it a little bit, but I promise you it's always there. It's always there. It's always there. You saw it during BLM as well. How like conservatives were cheering on people like the governments like the Tennessee state for banning all protests on public property and on government property. Sorry, for banning all protests on government property. It's government property. How in the world are you how in the world are you going to ban in the United States of America, in any civilized society, protesting the government on government property and trying to throw people in jail for that? You're insane. You're insane. It's crazy. As you see, the speech wasn't free enough. That's true. Forgot about that. Wasn't free enough. That's true. True. That's pretty true. That's so true. Honestly, one of the most true things that were spoken. I've seen people say it's illegal to protest Supreme Court. Yeah, when like they showed up out of the Supreme Court justices, mind you, public residences, to protest them for their, mind you, public court rulings. People are going to sit here and try to pretend like they're pro free speech. Come, shut the fuck up. Never open your damn dusty, dingy, dirty mouth again and spittle up the most gobsmacking tomfoolery I've heard in my entire life. Come here. Come here. Oh. Hi. Oh, sorry. I didn't see you there. If you're enjoying the content, hit the subscribe button. If you don't, it'll make Boo very sad. I know a bunch of you who are watching are not subscribed. Join the frenzy. You won't regret it. Thank you, Boo.
Queens of the Stone Age, but also probably a lot of fuck. How am I blanking right now? The main music guy for Fury. He's like one of the big like electro track OST people. He's like a fucking god. Come on. Carpenter Brut. Yeah, Carpenter Brut.
Why am I bothering talking about it as opposed to legal scholars elsewhere? Let them debate it. My job is to unite this country. And I do not think it sets a good precedent when the President of the United States and the Justice Department under him uses police force to indict its political opponents in the middle of an election and then issue gag orders to say that that opponent during the presidential election can't even talk about that relevant set of issues. I just don't think that's a good precedent, and I don't want to see that in one direction or the other. That's wrong.
Do you believe it's a good precedent to implement a slate of fake electors to overturn the results of our democratic process and go against the will of the American voters?
So, look, I think that there were serious issues that need to be discussed relating to election integrity. However, I would not have made those same judgments that Donald Trump did. This, though, belongs to the voters. This is a judgment for the
copyright. Nope, it's video game track.
Voters of this country, not a judgment for a justice system that lands people in prison as its ultimate goal, especially political opponents. I just think that's bad for the United States of America.
Okay.
So leave it to the voters. Trust the voters to make the decision of who governs.
Okay.
Instead of trying to take it out of the voters' hands. And I don't think that should be a controversial idea.
Yeah, it's definitely controversial because what you're saying is
leaving it to the voters is controversial.
No, not that. Hold on. Not that.
He's literally essentially saying that like political leaders should be made impossible to prosecute. Like that's essentially what he's saying. He's essentially saying like, oh, leave it to the voters to bypass the criminal justice process completely and just let popular rule decide. He's also said he believes in law and order. These are two completely contradictory opinions.
Broke laws, including going against the will of the American voters by implementing a slate of fake electors, which were noted as such in memos passed around within the Trump campaign. They were referred to as fake and fraudulent electors by Trump's co-conspirators. That is part of the evidence. Another piece of evidence that I think is compelling, to say the least, is that they had fake electors in the state of New Mexico, which had absolutely no pending litigation in regard to election fraud.
In a legal system, and if you want to go into the details of this, the First Amendment absolutely protects, and courts have held this for a long time, dating back to a case called Alvarez, I think it was in 2012, that political officials, including candidates for election, unfortunately, like it or not, have the First Amendment right not to tell the truth. That's just a fact. It's not something that we should
Donald
necessarily...
Trump was lying. So Donald Trump was lying.
That's for the courts to decide. But what
so
I'm
then he should be tried. If it's for the courts to decide, and we live in a country of laws, and he's being charged with a very important criminal act, why?
Okay, I'm sorry. I'm being extremely Adderall deprived right now. I'm going to calm it down a little bit. Okay, I'm going to recenter myself. Okay, I'm back. I'm here again. Okay, I'm back.
Why do you get to decide instead of the court system and say, oh, just let him off? Who cares what that is?
Because nobody else has been charged under the same set of facts.
Because no one else tried to do a coup against America with a fake electoral scheme. Do you know what's
Yeah, like you get to get away with doing an insurrection because you were the first one to do it. What? What was fucking what? Well, dude, how this is clear evidence of political prosecution pointing at my guy doing all these things for the first time. First place prize? Yeah, true.
Second person who's ever been accused of that?
We've had contested elections dating back to the late 1800s in this country, and a lot.
Yeah, but no one ever did fake electors and tried to do a coup, Vivek. So are you saying, because this is really important, because good for the goose is good for the gander. So you're saying Joe Biden, on his way out, can take any national secrets and show them to anyone he likes. Maybe you could even sell them, whatever. He can just take them. Who cares?
He can sell them.
And hold on.
I'm pretty clear about this.
Okay.
Can't sell them.
Okay, all right. But if Donald Trump is charged with selling them, are we allowed to try him then? Or do we just have to let him go no matter what he's charged with?
We're going to be on for most of an hour. So
does this count as a presidential debate? Yeah, I guess it does. This, yeah.
It's just important for you to understand something about me. I care about the details. Facts actually matter. I don't care about,
the details
random
as well.
jousting.
And you just implemented a law having to do with political speech of a president and extended it to the actions of the president. If the actions of the president are criminal, he should be held to the same. Excuse me, I'm still speaking. Can you please let me finish my statement? Okay? If the actions of the president happen to be illegal actions.
This is why it's so disappointing that PYT is huffing fucking a broken gas main, because when they do their shit, they know how to do their shit. My problem with Ana Kasparian has never been that she's stupid. I guess outside of the extent to which inhaling the gas fumes makes you stupid.
In the context of our democratic process, you genuinely believe that that individual should not be held accountable.
He sat his white ass down and listened.
Any former sitting president of the United States can attempt to steal elections, can attempt to implement fake electors, and go against the will of the American people. Is that what you're arguing here?
I just want to address you correctly. What's your name?
I mean, you just came on my show. You don't know my name? My name's Anna.
I don't, actually. I thought I was talking to Jake. What's your name?
My name is Anna.
Anna.
He's pulling the Emma Vigeland strategy, but I don't know if it's going to work here.
Good. No, we're going to be chatting for a while. I just wanted to address you conversation.
Should have prepared for the interview ahead of time.
Well, Anna, you guys invited me on your show. I'm making some time for you guys. I'm happy to have an open debate. Let's get some facts actually straight here.
I thought you were detail-oriented. I don't know. It's just you're the one.
I didn't mean that as a personal affront, Dan. I promise you, and I'm looking forward to getting into substance with you. So the reality is you're making an assertion that he broke the law. And then everything that you're doing is working backwards, making a legal judgment on a complex legal theory that has never been brought against a defendant in American history. So that's a circular reasoning. It's a circular loop.
No, it's not, Vivek. That doesn't make any...
What a catty bitch Vivek is being such a catty bitch. No, what he's being here is spineless. I think what you're seeing here is actually a consequence of the fact that his presidential strategy has mostly been sucking Trump's cock. He doesn't really have much experience in the political circuit being directly combative, you know? He loudly enunciates his talking points, which are he literally just has his thing is having 15 talking points that he just reads without explaining, refuses to elaborate, walks away, you know? And he's constantly sucking Trump's cock, as, you know, he's wont to do. So I don't actually think he has a well-developed sort of rhetorical strategy for dealing with people directly calling him on his shit. Does that make sense?
It says what you're saying. Vivek, we're not making this legal theory. But Vivek, you're going in circles. Hold on, let's be clear.
Nope.
So we're not making an assertion. Prosecutors are making that assertion. And you're saying, do not let the prosecutors do their job. Foreclose that. I don't want to discuss this. Hold on, let me finish. So can Joe Biden do a fake elector scheme and just make up electors and declare himself president as Donald Trump?
I really think the best way to handle politicians when they're being snakish is to handle it like Mehdi Hassan and just fucking interrupt them constantly. There's like a special gene or like an impulse you have to develop where every cell in your body is telling you to let them talk because it's like really rude to talk over them, and you have to ignore all of them, and you have to just keep talking and act like they're the ones who are being rude for trying to get a single word out. It's like, but this is very effective with politicians, especially, I think, because there are limits to their the amount they can express outrage, because they have to be some degree of civil. There are like limitations on what they can do and can say. Donald Trump is pretty good at dealing with this, but usually when people are rude to him in interviews, he just gets up and walks out. And I've always thought people should be ruder.
Wanted to do, and you admitted earlier he is lying. Donald Trump was lying. And so can Joe Biden lie and say, I've got fake electors, and I'll even call them fake electors?
Bro, get out of my place. What are you doing here?
Because you just said, that's it. No one's allowed to prosecute former presidents. Go ahead. So is Joe Biden allowed to do the same exact thing?
Let me just ask you guys a question, because I think I'm getting a sense for your command of the details here. Which case would you like to talk about? There are
fake electors. Go ahead, fake electors. Is Joe Biden allowed to do the same
one
fake
of you is talking about documents, and one of you is talking
because he broke so many laws. But let's stick with fake electors. Go ahead.
Which one would you like to discuss?
Fake electors. Go ahead.
Yeah. So there is no crime here that can be charged.
Oh.
That's the answer. There's no relevant crime. Now, can voters...
How embarrassing for a person running for president to do a fairly high-profile interview, and the first subject he gets hung up on is defending his opponent. Like, seriously, this is a great shot, for one. Literally, like the first thing he gets hung up on is like trying to explain how the person he's supposed to be running against is like perfect and flawless and never did anything wrong.
Take this into account when determining who their next president is? Absolutely. That's exactly how our process works. But our Constitution has a process that has been followed, and it was followed here. And the U.S. president, absolutely, even if he's the outgoing president, has an opportunity to share his opinion, even if those opinions are not true, and if that's found in a court of law. I don't have a view on that, but that's what the allegations are.
That's what a court of law is, Vivek, but you're saying we're not allowed to go to a court of law.
I'm not saying that you're not allowed to. I'm saying that I would pardon him, because I think that these do not match.
This is temporarily restoring my faith in TYT. The problem with TYT, guys, you guys have to be nuanced, okay? The problem with TYT isn't that they became, like, Republicans or whatever. The problem is that there was a weird, like, strangely rightward shift on some of the rhetoric they employed, stuff that was, like, really obviously bad. And then rather than engage constructively with any criticism of it, they burnt bridges and attacked people over disagreeing with them. They attacked former co-workers. I reached out to Ana Kasparian privately to try to resolve things. Will you guys stop whiplashing back and forth between, like, the perceived position of, one, TYT is, like, completely reprehensible in every way and can do nothing right, which I've never said, and the other one, which is, maybe I was too hard on them. No, we should be hard on them. We will keep being hard on them. We will never stop. However, this is pretty good. That's just simple position.
The actual law that the Supreme Court has held applying to these set of facts. And I think it's a bad judgment for the U.S. Justice Department to bring this case because it divides the country and it sets an awful precedent that will now be used going forward for years unless we do something about it. Unless it takes a leader who actually...
Just don't call people retards. It never ends well. Just try to stop me.
This country. This is the new precedent in the United States of America. The new precedent is the party in power will look at who the opponent is and throw the legal statute book at them. That's not how it's supposed to work. You're supposed to find a crime and then decide whether or not you want to prosecute it according to the same standards you use for every American. That is not what's happening here. And there is little doubt that if Donald Trump were not running for president, they would not have brought these charges. So I think that if you ask me, does this move towards uniting the country or not? I think it does not. I think it moves towards dividing the country, which is why I have been clear, even though I'm running against Donald Trump, I would pardon him if I'm elected president because that will move this nation forward. And I do not think that we should be guided by vengeance and grievance against one man. I do not think that that helps the United States of America.
God, Ford pardoning Nixon just like permafuck this country. We do not believe in accountability for political leaders. Again, keep in mind, he is running against Trump here. This person is allegedly supposed to be running against Trump.
America. That's why I'm in this race, and that's why I clearly answer your question. You asked me, why would I pardon? That's why I would pardon.
And just to be clear, you have absolutely no problem with the Trump campaign implementing fake electors in the state of New Mexico, which had no pending litigation in regard to election fraud. You're okay with that?
There's a difference between
Answer
what
the
I've made the
question.
same judgment.
Yes or no?
I don't think that's illegal. I do not think,
You don't think that's
anything
illegal?
that's been laid out.
Okay, you don't value our democratic process. Great to hear it.
Anything that's laid out has been a violation of the law. That's what I believe.
That's amazing. Okay. All right.
Amazing.
Thanks for watching.
Okay, this
That's
is quality
amazing.
content. We're watching the whole.
I didn't
podcast.
know you
At
were
least
gay.
I think we are, unless it gets really boring. But so far, so great.
You would like to disenfranchise voters between the ages of 18 and 25.
Wrong.
You want to increase the voting
Wrong.
age to 25 years old. Why do you want to do that?
Well, I don't want to disenfranchise anybody, but I do think that we need to revive civic duty in this country.
Duty?
So right now, I think we suffer a crisis of national pride in the United States of America. So the same logic that we apply to
This is like a very easy Hitler check. This is like easy 101 Hitler check. If somebody genuinely thinks that the complicated like political network of problems the country faces can be boiled down to or in any way addressed by we need more pride in our country, they are Hitler. They are Adolf Hitler. They are Hitler. Hitler.
immigrants who want to come to this country, to say that you have to know something about the country before you vote in that country. I think it is fair to apply that same logic to somebody who turns 18 and acquires their citizenship that way. And if not that, then at least to serve the country.
He does not listen to Mozart. Nobody who says they listen to Mozart actually listens to Mozart. anyone who listens to Mozart, who actually listens to Mozart, is aware of the fact that...
Oh, excuse me.
Don't worry about that. Is aware of the fact that the cultural associations with claiming that you... Don't worry about it.
Detailed articles in the Wall Street Journal and elsewhere.
Watch me like my top 5: Caravan Palace, Caravan Palace, Caravan Palace. No, it would probably like, it would all be like, it would honestly, right now, at this moment, if you had to ask me, it would all be obviously Queens of the Stone Age, but also probably a lot of, fuck, how am I blanking? How am I blanking right now? The main music guy for Fury, he's like one of the big, like, electro track OST people. He's like a fucking god. Come on. Carpenter Brut. Yeah, Carpenter Brut.
Why am I bothering talking about it as opposed to legal scholars elsewhere?
25,000 nanites to upgrade class.
And I do not think it sets a good precedent when the President of the United States and the Justice Department under him uses police force to indict its political opponents in the middle of an election and then issue gag orders to say that that opponent during the presidential election can't even talk about that relevant set of issues. I just don't think that's a good precedent, and I don't want to see that in one direction or the other. That's wrong.
Do you believe it's a good precedent to implement a slate of fake electors to overturn the results of our democratic process and go against the will of the American voters?
So, look, I think that there were serious issues that need to be discussed relating to election integrity. However, I would not have made those same judgments that Donald Trump did. This, though, belongs to the voters. This is a judgment for the
copyright? Nope, it's video game track.
Voters of this country, not a judgment for a justice system that lands people in prison as its ultimate goal, especially political opponents. I just think that's bad for the United States of America.
Okay.
So leave it to the voters. Trust the voters to make the decision of who governs.
Okay.
Instead of trying to take it out of the voters' hands. And I don't think that should be a controversial idea.
Yeah, it's definitely controversial because what you're saying is
leaving it to the voters is controversial.
No, not that. Hold on. Not that.
He's literally essentially saying that like political leaders should be made impossible to prosecute. Like that's essentially what he's saying. He's essentially saying like, oh, leave it to the voters. Bypass the criminal justice process completely and just let popular rule decide. He's also said he believes in law and order. These are two completely contradictory opinions.
Broke laws, including going against the will of the American voters by implementing a slate of fake electors, which were noted as such in memos passed around within the Trump campaign. They were referred to as fake and fraudulent electors by Trump's co-conspirators. That is part of the evidence. Another piece of evidence that I think is compelling, to say the least, is that they had fake electors in the state of New Mexico, which had absolutely no pending litigation in regard to election fraud.
We have a legal system, and if you want to go into the details of this, the First Amendment absolutely protects, and courts have held this for a long time, dating back to a case called Alvarez, I think it was in 2012, that political officials, including candidates for election, unfortunately, like it or not, have the First Amendment right not to tell the truth. That's just a fact. It's not something that we should necessarily...
So Donald Trump was lying.
That's for the courts to decide. But what
so then he should be tried. If it's for the courts to decide, and we live in a country of laws, and he's being charged with a very important criminal act, why?
Okay, I'm sorry. I'm being extremely Adderall deprived right now. I'm going to calm it down a little bit. Okay, I'm going to recenter myself. Okay, I'm back. I'm here again. Okay, I'm back.
And you get to decide instead of the court system and say, oh, just let him off. Who cares what that is?
Because nobody else has been charged under the same set of facts.
Because no one else tried to do a coup against America with a fake electoral scheme. Do you know what's
Yeah, like you get to get away with doing an insurrection because you were the first one to do it. What? What was fucking what? Well, dude, how this is clear evidence of political prosecution pointing at my guy doing all these things for the first time. First place prize? Yeah, true.
Second person who's ever been accused of that?
We've had contested elections dating back to the late 1800s in this country, and a lot.
Yeah, but no one ever did fake electors and tried to do a coup, Vivek. So are you saying, because this is really important, because good for the goose is good for the gander. So you're saying Joe Biden, on his way out, can take any national secrets and show them to anyone he likes. He could maybe even sell them, whatever. He could just take them. Who cares?
He can sell them.
And hold on.
Very clear about this.
Okay.
Can't sell them.
Okay, all right. But if Donald Trump is charged with selling them, are we allowed to try him then, or do we just have to let him go no matter what he's charged with?
we're going to be on for most of an hour, so
Does
I think
this count as a presidential debate? Yeah, I guess it does. This, yeah.
it's just important for you to understand something about me. I care about the details. Facts actually matter. I don't care about,
the details
random
as well.
jousting.
And you just implemented a law having to do with political speech of a president and extended it to the actions of the president. If the actions of the president are criminal, he should be held to the same. Excuse me, I'm still speaking. Can you please let me finish my statement? Okay? If the actions of the president happen to be illegal actions,
Man, this is why it's so disappointing that TYT is huffing fucking a broken gas main, because when they do their shit, they know how to do their shit. My question, my problem with Ana Kasparian has never been that she's stupid. I guess outside of the extent to which inhaling the gas fumes makes you stupid.
in the context of our democratic process. You genuinely believe that that individual should not be held accountable
He
for
sat
what he
his
engaged
white
in.
ass
You think
down
that
and listened.
Any former sitting president of the United States can attempt to steal elections, can attempt to implement fake electors, and go against the will of the American people. Is that what you're arguing here?
I just want to address you correctly. What's your name?
I mean, you just came on my show. You don't know my name?
Is it restarting? What did I replay this
I
part?
don't actually.
The
to somebody who turns 18 and acquires their citizenship that way. And if not that, then at least to serve the country in some minimal way. So if you ask me, are we better off or worse off as a nation if every high school senior has to pass the same civics test that every immigrant has to pass in order to become a voting citizen?
Vosh, I fully agree with Vivek. We should restrict voting to those with college degrees. True! Unironically, yeah. You do that shit, it's like every fucking election,
Yes, Kitty,
90
hello.
to 10 Democrat sweep
What's
across
up?
the board. Instantly. Like, oh, we want to restrict political access to education, huh? I can't vote then? Don't worry, I could. Yeah, that'd be pretty good. Obviously, the only
Where you
reason
at?
you would
Where's your
actually
head?
want... The only consequence
What up?
of a mandatory citizenship test that would enfranchise you, the only like actual practical consequence of that would be that poor people are less likely to be able to vote. That's it. Like that is it. That's it. No matter how high your ideals might be, no matter how like lofty your conception of how it might be, the only practical outcome would be poor people diminishing their relative likelihood of voting. The reason why he only wants this to apply to young people, by the way, is because he's terrified of young people voting, because young people vote Democrat. Now, if you had a test that you had to pass,
Am I gonna get like a little section for you to sit up here?
Every single person,
Man.
every
Yeah,
person,
get a little
every
cat
age,
tower.
that would actually benefit us, because a huge number of Republican voters are, you know, rural, lower class, educationally disenfranchised. On average, Republican voters tend to be wealthier, but rural voters tend to have lower access to education. It's complicated. The average Democrat voter is poorer than the average Republican voter, but that's also because very wealthy people almost always vote Republican, which skews the numbers. Very poor people are often Republican, though not always. Again, it's really a matter of rural poor versus urban poor. Does that make sense? There would be a lot of Republican voters.
God damn it, Wire, get the fuck out of here.
Most of the Republicans that I've come in contact with and talked to are fucking retarded, you know? Like, they don't know anything about this country. Like, there's a reason why history majors are the most Democrat-leaning college majors in existence. Like, that is the major with the most Democrats proportionally. So, yeah, I don't think conservatives would do very well with civics tests either. Yeah. They would say, like, communists wrote this test because they would be asked, like, questions about slavery or whatever, and they'd be like, what? Slavery? Did you know the Jews did the slaves? Also, blacks had it good back then, you know?
I think that will make our country stronger. I think that will make our country more united. I think that will make our voting populace more informed, people more proud to be an American. There was a 10-year-old girl.
I remember having this convo with Charlie Kirk, too, where he kept insisting that the purpose of education is to instill in people a sense of pride in their country, which is like the most Hitlerite shit imaginable.
Who approached me in Iowa last week, having heard about this policy and some of the criticisms from the left and otherwise. She printed out the 100-question test. She scored 100%.
That is literally the purpose of the Hitler Youth. Like, no shot, like no joke, the first fucking thing the Nazis did with regards to public education was they restructured it to be about national pride, and they created the Hitlerjugend
What you
to
want,
get
baby?
like 5-year-olds running around with their own little fucking Luger pistols, screeching about how the Aryan race used to be 12 feet tall or whatever.
I'm trying to.
60% is a passing score. If a 10-year-old girl in Iowa can do it,
Well, there's
yes,
no space
every
on
high
this
school
shit for
senior
you.
can and should too. That's not a Republican idea or a Democrat idea. Now, I personally believe that voting rates amongst young Americans will actually skyrocket once we revive that sense of civic pride and civic duty.
He's completely lying here. This is a lie. The only purpose of this policy is to make it so less young people vote. That's it.
I also favor making Election Day a national holiday. We should make
That is
voting
good.
in this country a civic ritual, that it should mean something. It unites us to say that we take the time to know about our country, our Constitution, and then participate in our republic.
I do want people to know more about how our country functions. I just don't believe in gatekeeping the right to vote behind that test. I do believe in making voting day a national holiday. The fact that it's not is insane, by the way. Actually insane that it's not. I do think it should be like a national ritual, you know, like a civic ritual. I would love it if every voting day there were like gigantic American flags hanging from every light post above your main street, where like there's people playing out in the streets and there's like hot dog stands everywhere and bands and parades and marches. And I would love it if it was like a major fucking event. But again, Republicans historically have wanted less voter participation because the more voter participation there is, the more that disproportionately gets Democrats involved. So, you know.
And so, I'm not saying you have to agree with me on that, but I do think that if you're not going to agree with me on that, then I challenge you to find a better idea, and I'm open to it myself, for how we revive that missing civic pride in our country. It's
not about
but one
pride.
way or another, we're going to have to think outside of the existing box to do it, and that's part of where I'm leading the way.
So, Vivek, I want to ask a follow-up on that. I have an idea that I've discussed on the show before. I think that after people leave high school, they can go to the military.
The idea that like the most powerful country in the world has its voting day on, it can just be on a fucking Wednesday, and it's like you worked a double shift and like, oh, you get off work at 8 p.m. that day, sorry, you can't vote. Like, yeah, you could have done a mail-in vote, but Republicans want to make mail-in voting illegal. So like, fucking what? Isn't it always a Tuesday? I forget. Our elections are on a Sunday? I forget. I don't know. I mail-in vote. Don't ask me when voting days are. Okay, I mail that shit in way ahead of time.
Peace Corps, AmeriCorps, et cetera. I think it unites the country. So I understand I have a different idea.
I think that's interesting.
Okay, now in terms of the, you say they need to know civics, but you know that if you knew civics, that this country also has a history of poll taxes, literacy tests, et cetera, to specifically disenfranchise some voters. And so, and you know that the Republicans are losing under 25-year-old voters in a massive way, and that is absolutely clear based on the demographics and the polling information. So it looks really convenient that all of a sudden you don't want as many young voters, et cetera. But here comes the question. So
Cenk and Anna are hitting on like every point that I would want them to hit on. They are so far killing it. I can tell they really prepared for this. Like, full credit here.
If we did your literacy test, your civics test, and it turned out that 80% of Republicans don't pass it, but 60% of Democrats do pass it. So it's a massive, massive disadvantage for Republicans. You just can't get your ignorant young folks, it's hypothetical, ignorant young folks that are Republicans to pass any of these tests. Are you still okay with saying, no, 80% of Republican voters that are young, you can't vote because you're too ignorant?
I'm okay with it regardless. And I think that the reason we apply the standard is...
Okay, he has to say this, of course, because if he just admitted, I would not accept an outcome that wasn't favorable to my side, like, obviously, that would be unacceptable. So, yeah, like, don't believe his fake posturing here.
Think about the logic. The poll taxes, a lot of those were made with the explicit purpose of disenfranchising specific groups of people.
Kind of like how Republicans, right before the 2020 election, took away... voting booths from majority black counties all across Texas. And if we add up the potential votes that might have been taken, it's very, very possible that that might have been like a properly purple state, like a real contested state. And the drop-off boxes, yeah.
At a point in our national history when we were coming off of some inequitable treatment, historically, in the eyes of the law. Thankfully, we've moved up forward this country many decades past where we were even in the civil rights movement. Now, today, we do, I will remind you, there's a reason why we require every immigrant to this country
hanging out all
to know those things
morning.
before they vote. That's a good thing, by the way. I think that's important. But that same logic.
I actually don't think so. I think that's unfair as fuck.
God
If
dang,
people,
kitty.
if dumb fucks who are born here get to vote just by virtue of their mom squatting in a bathtub and shitting them out, like in here, then immigrants shouldn't have to spend 20 years waiting and then pass a fucking history test. You know? Whatever process for immigration we have, like the idea that immigrants have to demonstrate a higher understanding of our civic process than domestic citizens is really weird to me. It doesn't seem fair.
If an immigrant has to know it in order to vote, I don't think it is wrong to say no matter what your skin color or what your political affiliation, you should know the same things about the country at minimum to vote.
Okay.
And to those for whom you say tests aren't everything, there's a separate
What's
point
up?
built in. 6 months of service to the country in a first responder
No,
role or a
no,
military
no,
role.
no, no.
You've got to have some skin
Come
in
on.
the game, or else.
Come on. I know what you want. There you go. Outside, you got it. Here, look at this apple. Here, look at this apple.
You really have no way to play in the game. I think English should be the only language.
No,
at the voting
no,
box.
no.
So Vivek,
This is something that I think is
if you
important for
don't
the
know,
country.
if you don't know that there is no such thing as fake,
I would be okay with the federal government having some kind of like New Deal-esque renewal program be an employment option for like fresh graduates of high school, but not making it mandatory. Like basically, if you've just graduated and you want to get a job, you know, like you could go do like some minimum wage work, or you could get minimum wage being part of like the reclamation corps, you know, clean up trash along the highway, maybe like do some very low, not low effort, but like low risk work in construction sites, like maybe clearing, you know, debris or like just stuff like that, you know what I mean? I think it'd be pretty cool. There's a lot of work that could be done. I'm sure the federal government could find plenty of use for young people. Certainly not soldiers, and not mandatory.
electors, then I guess we would disqualify almost all Republican voters, right?
Look, I think that you can take that civics test, see how you do. I challenge you to do it. My sense is my guess.
Never understood why you have to actively register to vote here in America to disenfranchise poor people and people of color. That's literally it. Every single barrier to voting, every barrier to voting, no matter what, always has the same outcome. And it's people who are weak are less likely to overcome that barrier. No matter how easy it might be, the more poor you are, the more likely it is you fail to overcome that barrier. Even if it's only 1% of poor people, that's still like millions of people taken off the, you know, like, you know, removed from the running, basically. So every barrier helps the Republicans, which is why we should have as few barriers in as possible. Everyone should be registered to vote by default. Election day should be like, think about the election day holiday thing. How fucked do you think it is with like poor people are the ones least likely to be able to take the day off to vote or like have the time to vote or whatever. Like what if you're a single mom who has 2 kids to manage and you have a job to work and you have to pick your kids up from school? It's like, holy shit, where are you going to vote? And then keep in mind, it's like, oh, you can do mail-in voting, but Republicans want to make that illegal, you know?
So you'd probably do pretty well.
I already took it.
Probably
I'm
have a
a
different
naturalized
view.
citizen. So, yes,
You'd have,
I
good.
took it.
So you'd have a,
I crushed
you'd
it.
have a
And I guarantee you I would do a much, much
so
better
you
than
yourself were an
average
immigrant to
person.
this country. Great.
Yes.
My sense is that many people find this a little too frightening until they take a look at it. And then you say, hey, if somebody's voting for president of the United States, do we think it's important that they know what branch of government the U.S. president leads? I think most
Yeah,
people
the average fucking American doesn't know that shit now.
think that's a legitimate thing
I don't think Donald
for somebody
Trump
to know
knows
when
that.
they're
Are
voting for
you
US
positive Donald Trump would pass your test? He took a dementia test and thought it was an IQ test. He thinks
I
you
think
could
one of the
suspend the
things-
Constitution for no reason.
I think you guys
he
have
thinks
an
you could do
obsession
martial
with
law.
one man.
I'm sorry, that's the greatest
I'm interested in
president
the
of the
country.
21st century.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I think I'm interested in the future of the country, but I'm not interested in particularly psychoanalyzing another individual who seems to be your obsession for the day.
You don't understand, okay? My election goal is to suck Donald Trump's cock, all right? Not to talk about him, okay? I'm not here to talk about Donald Trump. I'm here to throat his dick. Gluck, gluck, gluck.
Gluck, gluck.
Oh, what?
Gluck,
Hey,
gluck,
what
glizzy
happened?
tuck.
I click. Members only. What? Hello?
Yes, kitty? What up?
Hello? Click. Oh, does the is
You
the
wanna
next
go outside
video
again? You're
members
not
only?
scared?
Oh, no, it's not. Okay, that was weird. Whatever.
Ma?
Base stage that the other candidates were bought and paid for.
I don't hear you
Now,
not
that's a
being
thing that
scared.
I very much agree with, and not just about.
You still sound scared.
So
I don't
but
believe
seem
you.
to have waffled on that from debate to debate, but we're here so you can clarify.
Okay,
So
there we
when
go.
You say bought and paid for.
What up?
What do you mean by it?
Yeah, I mean that these are actually mostly as I've gotten to know them. It's less waffling, but more my view has evolved a little bit. I actually think that most of them, not all of them, but most of them are good people, but they have been tainted by a broken system. So what do I mean by that? I mean it's a lie that there's actual limits to what you can give to a political candidate. The myth is you can only give $3,300 per cycle in the primary and in the general election. That's false. The reality is most of the election, look at the primary, look at elections these days, period. They're being run by super PACs. That's where most of the money is being spent. And big donors can give...
Reminder, if you're watching this, that if you type !Alabama into chat, you can see the link, progress.win/Vosh-Swain, and you can go and sign up with Progressive Victory to Phone Bank, which is very easy and fun, and everyone loves it, and you'll have a great time. And you can get the very first trans state rep elected in the state of Alabama in a quick special election. Guys, the results for this primary, they're going to be in just 1 week, actually 6 days from now. So we have 6 days to interject into the state election as a group of, at least in my case, coastal elites, sticking our fat cat hand into the affairs of local Alabama politics to say, yes, you will have a trans state representative. So go over there and make sure to sign up. It's very good. Apparently, we already have over 150 people who have signed up, which is like insane. So make sure to get in there.
Limited money to super PACs. And even though those super PACs are basically running the campaigns, that's corrupt. And so I think it is a lie that we have...
Bro, this bitch is trans, passing like a pane of glass. What the fuck?
Have the system. You know, $6,600 is a limit. That's a lot of money to most people in the country, and fair enough.
We
but
love
you're
our
not going to
gigapass
control
alerts,
a
don't we, folks?
politician with $6,600. That's why we have that limit. And yet, what you actually have is the real system that does control the politicians, which are the super PACs.
But flying to Alabama from Amsterdam is too far, Voosh. Good thing it's phone banking then. Phone lines travel very quickly. Information.
Technically, these independent agencies or these independent entities that are spending that money, but they're not really independent when the candidates themselves show up at the fundraisers hosted by the super PACs, regularly talk to donors on speed dial who are giving to those super PACs, turns the politicians into circus monkeys. And is the circus monkey a bad monkey? No, it's not. It's just doing what it's supposed to do. It jumps as high as its master tells it to jump. That's the way.
It doesn't let you sign up if you're not American. Oh, never mind. All non-Americans get out. Get out.
our political system is run, frankly, in both parties. And so I think that that's a cancer on American politics. Whether or not I agree with the policies that come out of your mouth as a politician, I'd rather they at least be the views that actually represent yourself or the voters.
Oh shit, I forgot to pause it.
Bro, this bitch is trans, passing like a pane of glass. What the fuck?
Of the system, you know, $6,600 is a limit. That's a lot of money to most people in the country, and fair enough.
We
but
love
you're
our
not
Giga Passoids,
control a
don't we, folks?
politician with $6,600. That's why we have that limit. And yet, what you actually have is the real system that does control the politicians, which are the super PACs.
But flying to Alabama from Amsterdam is too far. Voosh, good thing it's phone banking then. Phone lines travel very quickly.
Technically, these independent agencies or these independent entities that are spending that money, but they're not really independent when the candidates themselves show up at the fundraisers hosted by the super PACs, regularly talk to donors on speed dial who are giving to those super PACs, turns the politicians into circus monkeys. And is the circus monkey a bad monkey? No, it's not.
Monkey.
It's just doing what
Good
it's supposed to do.
monkey.
It jumps as high as its master tells it to jump. That's the way.
It doesn't let you sign up if you're not American. Oh, never mind. All non-Americans get out. Get out.
Our political system is run, frankly, in both parties. And so I think that that's a cancer on American
Monkey.
politics. Whether or not I agree with the policies that come out of your mouth as a politician, I'd rather they at least
swear to
be
God,
the
I muted that.
views that actually represent yourself or the voters you're running to represent, not the donors who are providing your mother's milk. And I think this is hopefully a
My mom's
point
milk?
that we can agree on. This used to be a calling card on the left. I'm trying to make this part of the America First movement on the right, and I'm actually getting a lot of grassroots support for it.
Yeah.
But the donor class does not like me talking about this, and that's why they've come down on me like a ton of bricks.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that, but so just to be clear, so Nikki Haley and others are circus monkeys who are corrupt.
I think that the people who are running in the Republican primary, whose money is principally funded by super PACs, are really just vessels for their super PACs. That includes Ron DeSantis, Nikki Haley, Tim Scott, anybody whose campaign is principally being spent via their super PAC rather than their...
I wonder if there are any other candidates that have a bunch of money and corporate interests. Maybe a political candidate so corrupt that when becoming president, they became the first president in U.S. history to not divest their businesses, thereby openly acknowledging a conflict of interest wherein they might engage in policymaking to directly benefit their own industries, which they then provably did.
They get so little hydrogen.
Their campaign. It's just a fact. That's
God
the way it
damn.
works.
You use stronger language
So
about
slow
this,
to
which I
collect.
agreed with.
Gotta
During
find
the
a different way to
interview
make
with
that
Sean
shit.
Hannity. I want to give the audience a little snippet of what you had to say. We'll take a look.
Why would you accuse Nikki Haley of being corrupt?
I don't believe that somebody should be able to be the next commander-in-chief if they have monetized their time in government, going from being in debt to making $8 million through military contracting businesses, through service on the board of Boeing. Frankly, it is shameful for somebody to be collecting stock options from corporate boards while they're running for U.S. president.
Totally agree with you, 1,000% on that, and I commend you for bringing the issue of corruption and legalized bribery to the forefront of the GOP primary debates. I do have to ask, though, one of the issues that was reported on widely during the Trump administration was how he was directing official government business to Trump properties and then inflating the prices of the hotel.
Oh shit, I made it all the way here.
Officials and members of the military in order to pad his...
Yeah, that was pretty fucking wildly corrupt, wasn't it? Hey, I'm not going to divest my businesses, and I'm going to direct government resources directly to properties I own. Oh, this your stay at this resort that I own? Why, it'll be $11 squidillion on the government side.
Squidillion, yo!
Pockets. Did you at all have a problem with that?
So,
Bro said squidillion.
These other facts have been my question, though, in my answer, I don't care if you're Republican or Democrat, you should not use your government connections to make money, period. And so
that's a whole different measurement of
I favor it.
money, material,
you should not be able to
time,
the government
light,
for more than 10
speed,
years.
sound.
Bans on trading individual stocks while you're a member of Congress or anybody else that has information that could move those stocks. That builds public trust. You shouldn't be trading stocks as a government leader or a congressman or a
What about failing to divest your businesses?
bureaucrat regulating an industry. If you're regulating an industry, should you be able to join the board of a company in that industry? That was the Nikki Haley example I referenced. She did a special deal for Boeing in South Carolina while she was governor. Later goes on to join the board of Boeing, a defense contractor. Is on the UN, uses connections to generate a lot of military-industrial complex connections. Her family then goes off to start a military...
Republican voters do actually support the anti-corruption. Yeah, everyone supports anti-corruption concept. There's no human on Earth who's like, yeah, I'm for the pro-corruption ticket. That's not a real thing, you know? The problem is that Republicans fucking then vote for the most corrupt dipshits in the universe, like right after that, you know? It's like asking a person whether or not they support bad things. Like, no one's gonna say that. Except for the Greeks? Yeah, except for the Greeks, I guess.
Do you support
Here's the
baby
PAC helping Vivek.
suicide?
Yeah, a lot of Vivek's money is independent, though, but it's because he, like, defrauded the investors. American Exceptionalism PAC. Nice. Literally just called the American Exceptionalism PAC. Just Manifest Destiny PAC.
Military contractor. So any way of using your government connections to make more money, I think should be banned.
No Man's Sky. Ship inventory. I suffer with that. Fast way to upgrade ship inventory. How to max ship and multi-tool inventory. You know what? I think I'm gonna continue doing my missions. Actually, you know what? I kind of want to start Farming Simulator. I want to start Farming Simulator. I want to build... I gotta save up nanites. Ah, god damn it. It's gonna be too much for my brain.
Okay.
Bad. Right now, it's not bad. So it's not that people are breaking the law by doing it. But I think it is especially bad when some of those same people then come back and run for U.S. president. And that's
I
why
do want a
think the right
dioxide
sim-
farm.
The reason I've dialed this up now is that it's one thing if that was just politics as usual. Right now, we're escalating our path to World War III, which I genuinely worry about as a major risk going forward. And so, no, I don't think that somebody who has a demonstrated track record of potentially making money on taking us to World War III should get anywhere near the White House, which is why I've been particularly sharp about this issue, even relative to the first few months of this campaign, when those foreign policy threats weren't quite as pronounced.
All right, we continue to agree on that. So, if someone, for example, was in charge of the Middle East policy in an administration, and then they
Dude, they're like laser focused. Cred where creds do, man. But like, I'm thinking in my brain right now, like, you got to bring up Jared, right? You got to bring up Jared. You got to bring up Jared, right?
The administration and immediately got $2 billion from someone that's in the Middle East, the country that's in the Middle East, that they were in charge of handling policy on, and might have even, according to some rumors, passed intelligence on to. That obviously shouldn't be allowed to happen. That is massive corruption, right?
Okay, predict the response. Is he going to deflect by answering another question that wasn't asked? Is he going to say, you guys are obsessed with Trump? Is he going to say, well, I don't know about the details of any of that, but hypothetically, if that did happen, and I don't know what you're referring to, but if that did happen, that would be kind of bad, I guess. What is his response going to be?
Well, if somebody is running for president who fits that description, you let me... Yes. Yes.
Well, hypothetically, if that was hypothetically to happen, you know, maybe, I guess I would, you just let me know if that ever happens, haha.
No, but I've been calling out the people who
So
are
that's
running
Jared
for president
Kushner.
who
So,
do.
Jared Kushner. So, are you okay with that, or is?
I mean, if I'm judging the first half of this interview as extrapolate to the second, I can't verify all of the facts that you're.
Is dioxide a mineral?
Okay.
Referring to there, I'm giving you
I don't
a
think
very
so.
clear litmus test. Politicians in either party should not make money off of their time. In
Yeah,
public
radon.
service
I should
beyond
look
the
for
salary that they're
minerals.
paid. That's a general principle.
Let me
And we
see.
should apply it evenly across both political parties.
A local
But where I am
mineral
about the details is the
extract.
people I'm
Okay,
running
okay.
against
I've been
president
looking
for
wrong
president
this
against.
entire time. I'm
Facts
so
matter,
fucking
and those are the
dumb.
ones where I have been
Hold on,
expressly
hold on.
vocal
We got.
that nobody who fits that description should be.
Let me get the
taken as a
Minotaur out.
If we found out that the Saudis decided to buy the PGA and funnel all of the.
All right, so where's my
a lot of
base?
the
It's over
tournaments
there?
to-
All right, all right, we're
Donald
good.
Trump's golf courses, right after he was in charge of policy with Saudi Arabia, you would be outraged.
Really regretting the interview right
So
about
I
now.
don't understand this game of innuendo. I have no idea what.
See, look, he's like, he's doing the guy incognito. I have no idea what you mean. This Jared Kushner. I have not heard any of the facts associated with this most curious dilemma you have presented me. I am anti-corruption. Just don't ask me about any actual corruption that's happened by the guy whose cock I like sucking.
What facts you're referring to or not.
Okay,
rather
here,
than
I'll
play
give you
that
another one.
hypotheticals.
Because,
But
okay,
the
so you're saying
conversation on
hypotheticals, that's actually
policy-
what's happening in the real world. But I'll give you another one. You said earlier that you're opposed to people taking super PAC money and you think that's corrupting and it makes them service monkeys. Again, I totally agree with you. I totally agree with you, okay? So, Sheldon Adelson gave over $100 million to pro-Trump super PACs, and then Donald Trump did all the things that Sheldon Adelson
Sodium.
asked him to do, including getting rid of corruption charges on him, including fighting against unions, including bringing back money from abroad. Sheldon Adelson's main money was in China, in Macau casinos, where he was able to bring it back at 8%.
China.
This is the system in
Scratch
both
my
political parties that
gina.
needs to end. Now, what did I say? From everybody, even the people I'm running against in this race.
Well, the Minotaur can go underwater. Holy
I
shit.
think we need to change the law so that we
Kelp
have an
sack.
even-handed system
The
where
fuck
you
is
don't
that?
have a special class of mega donor billionaires.
He's doing so poorly. Yeah, that's why like stuff like this is really special and why it's really important to be able to tear down people like this. Because politicians who are this cucked do
Minotaur,
not
where you
do
at?
well with direct interviews. Like, this is why most politicians will only accept interviews from like CNN or what, like they'll only accept interviews
I have
from,
underwater
like,
protection
stuffy,
too.
like, you know,
This is
Harvard
perfect.
educated, rootin' tootin',
Wow.
fucking bitches, basically.
Minotaur's so
because if you
good.
actually directly, aggressively challenge their positions, they fall apart pretty easily, you know? Vivek made a huge mistake agreeing to this.
We
This
got
is
a
really
clam?
dumb. Why'd this guy accept the TYT invite? Well, I
Abyssal
can't read
horror.
minds. My guess is that Vivek is overconfident. You know, he's young. He's barely older than I am. He's a smarmy piece of shit. Like, he very obviously has a high opinion of himself. He's probably just like an empty sociopath who craves power. Probably thought that he could just use this as another platform. I don't think this is going very well for him.
Influencing what politicians do.
Okay, so you
Tap
are
to
clear. So
flee.
you're saying it does
Oh, the
apply to
abyssal
Trump.
horror
So
is
Trump
fucking me
literally
up.
me. When he took his super PACs took over $100 million in both elections from Joe Biden.
I said the same thing I said at the very beginning. It is legal, and that's why we need to change it. We need to change the system where you do not want people to effectively have disproportionate influence on their politicians.
So
I think you and I agree on that. Change the law. What's the game you're trying to play? I don't know.
Because he's
Oh,
like,
fuck.
he literally,
It's
he's
eating
like,
me.
This is bad because it's corrupt. And Cenk is like, well, here's 50 examples of Trump
think I
doing
already
this thing.
interrupted it.
And Vivek's like, well,
Can't
if
fuck with that
happened,
clam
I guess,
anymore.
I don't know, that'd be bad, I guess. So Cenk's like, okay, so you are saying then that he is corrupt, that Donald Trump
What is that?
corrupt. And Vivek's like, what? Why are you asking me to be consistent with my position? Why are you asking me to follow the logical conclusion of my beliefs in a direction that would lead me to criticize Donald Trump, the person whose cock is currently in my throat?
I'm just trying to understand.
It is a corrupt system.
Yeah, and Donald Trump participated in that corrupt system and is part of that corruption. That's okay. You're running against him. There's nothing
Can
wrong
I
with
collect
that.
your pearl?
really
Oh,
don't-
there we
The
go.
level of obsession. I mean, the Trump derangement syndrome. It's really sad.
He's polling at
what that's done to the
59%,
country,
brother.
where
You're
you
polling at
cannot
7%.
have
What do you mean
you
Trump
cannot
derangement
have a
syndrome?
policy
Not only that,
discussion
look,
in this country.
But
without
Vivek, you're running against.
I can't summon him underwater.
Bro, imagine saying Trump derangement syndrome when you're running
fuck
against
it.
him. You're trying to primary him.
Republican candidate, you're running against him. What do you mean obsession?
It's just befuddling that you refuse to call him out on anything.
How many times has George Soros' son visited Joe Biden?
Yep. And the moment they get flustered and realize that they don't have any way out of the conversation, they start the whataboutisms with just the insane train of fucking conspiracy theories that they have lined up for situations like these.
Biden in the White House. And how much
This guy has a Soros scholarship, yeah.
Probably too many times for comfort.
It doesn't
Who
matter.
cares?
My point is,
We have no problem with calling that out.
My point is, but my point is, it's not useful because you could do this for every politician in America. That's the fact of the matter. And so, as I
Can
said
I
at the
get your
beginning,
clam?
No, actually, Donald Trump is a lot more openly corrupt than any other politician in America. Like,
Thank you.
Like
Your
seriously,
pearl.
he-
Excuse me.
He was the president. He had more opportunities to be corrupt, and he's been so flagrantly corrupt with like no evident, like apparent attempt to hide any of it. You know?
These are good people tainted by a broken system. Some of them aren't even good people.
He's
There's
a
one,
real
but most of
president.
them
He
I've
doesn't
heard
attempt
are
to
good
hide
people
his
tainted by a broken system.
chicanery.
Fix them.
Except Donald Trump was a maverick. The whole point of Donald Trump's presidential run was that he was an outsider who wasn't tainted by the system. And then he entered the system and did all the corruption, but like 10 times as much. And then and now Vivek is like, well, he's just an innocent cinnamon roll who was corrupted by the system that he wasn't a part of.
The system. I'm not running against any of those candidates. I know you want me to think I'm running against Trump. I'm not running against any.
The fuck is this? Submerged relic?
I'm sorry? Is there another
anal core?
presidential primary that you are running in? Is there another? I'm sorry. I must have this confused. I thought you were. I guess is this just him being masked off about him wanting to be VP? Like, dude, Jesus Christ.
Any of those candidates, I'm running against that system. And I think that that's something that probably on a day where you're in line with
This
your
is
principles
fucking
would
embarrassing,
agree with.
dude.
Someone needs to run against that system. It is going to take somebody who is willing to, and unfortunately the way that works today is every donor who dances to the tune of their biggest donor, every candidate who dances to the tune of their biggest donor, in my case that biggest donor is me. And the reason I'm running is it's...
I know who's going to shake up the system of corruption in Washington. A far-right venture capitalist who got his money by defrauding investors. Oh yeah, here we go. The anti-corruption.
Let's get some
ticket
pearls
being
while
led
we're out
by
here. Fuck it.
da-da-da-da.
We need some of those for an upgrade.
Hitler.
Oh, we got a
Jesus
few
Christ.
here. Oh
going to
shit.
take someone for whom that's true to
Hey
break that
boys.
system, and I think we're going to be successful in doing it.
But we're not
Yeah,
done.
reach though that
The remaining
mouth,
videos
those
are
lips.
shorter. This is fantastic.
Vivek, You propose cutting giant parts of the
Got
United
5. I
States,
need one more for the
federal
upgrade.
level, and at the executive level. So without getting into all of it, let me just name 3 of them: Department of Education, FBI, and
Vivuki?
IRS. So to most people, that
Vivusi?
sounds a little crazy. Are we not going to collect taxes? Are we not going to do law enforcement? So tell us why getting rid of the IRS, as an example, makes any sense at all.
Well, I think that's just an administrative reorganization. Downsize it, move it to the U.S. Treasury so it's a revenue collection process. I can tell you about the FBI. I mean,
You want to get rid of the IRS by consolidating it with another administrative branch and
efficient water jets improves fuel efficiency of
But
the
it's already-
jetpacks marine jets.
Am I getting gaslit? IRS. Wikipedia.
Okay, I can have this on at the same time, just
The Revenue
not
Service for the federal
a
government
ton of.
and an agency of the Department of the Treasury. I like how effortless that was for him. Like he runs on, yeah, we'll get rid of the IRS, and then he's asked about it directly. And then he's like, oh yeah, well, we'll just make the IRS do tax collection and make them a part of the Department of Treasury. A simple reorganization. Yeah, this is incredible. Vivek is such an effective politician. He managed to reform the IRS to his goal without even being president yet. That's crazy.
I mean, this is the one I get a lot of questions about, and I think is the most understandable pushback that people have, and I can do the education one too. There's 35,000 employees at the FBI. 20,000 of them are in back office functions in the J. Edgar Hoover building and back offices in this bureau. They can go home and find honest work in
Okay,
the private
so
sector.
now, time to find dioxide.
I think the FBI has work.
How far are we
that involves desk
from
work.
base?
What?
Right on
It's the
Gliss Farm,
FBI.
7
Does he
minutes.
think every FBI person should just be like out in the field in like one of those windbreakers with the yellow letters? They have paperwork to do. What do you mean? Like in the U.S. military, for every one dude out there with a gun, there are like 5 dudes behind a desk somewhere. There's like logistics. What? Like,
There's
it's
another
like
dude
that-
behind him eating his
it's
ass.
Like that with the police, as
Giving
well.
him motivation for the battle
But the
ahead.
15,000 agents on the front line
What
should
the
be moved
fuck
to
was
agencies
that
like
wheel
agencies like
thing?
the U.S. Marshals or to the financial.
Fucking little wheel monsters.
Why? Why would they be moved to the Marshals? Okay, keep in mind, the actual reason that he and Republicans are anti-FBI is because they don't want the FBI to be able to prosecute or investigate Trump or other fascists for crimes they engage in office. The FBI is basically the federal police department, and they're the ones with the authority, power, and reach to examine and investigate and provide evidence for charges against Republican leaders who would engage in insurrectionary behavior. This whole anti-FBI thing only cropped up when Donald Trump started getting charged for his involvement in January 6th. So all the bullshit he's saying about the FBI, it's literally just, I want to get rid of the police so I can't be arrested. It is no different from a serial killer being like,
You fucking
yeah,
crushed
I don't
the
think there should be police
sulfide,
in this
man.
county because reasons, you know, like it's no, yeah.
The fuck?
But they do other things, right? Well, yeah,
Oh,
it's
it
the FBI.
burned
they do
me.
lots of stuff, but like they are the federal police department, basically. Like that's the main thing that they are.
Crimes Enforcement Network at the U.S. Treasury or the DEA, where they will have far greater specialization and be much more effective than the agents are at the FBI right.
And curiously, all of them would be moved to departments that don't have jurisdiction over investigating federal crimes pertaining to election fraud. Ah, yes, we simply want to redistribute all these FBI agents to other departments, which all just have no power. What the U.S. Marshals and the DEA can't go over, can't go after you for insurrectionary behavior. After all, like, wonder why.
Now, in investigating child sex trafficking crimes, which the FBI has not been very good at, the U.S. Marshals has done a better job at. Specialized white-collar investigations, where people at the FBI lack the specialization that people at the U.S. Treasury Department's Financial Crimes Enforcement Network actually have. And this is also a way of addressing what I see as generational corruption in the FBI. The same Bureau of Investigation that used to go after the likes of Martin Luther King Jr., threatening him with suicide.
Yep, I'm sure you are truly just one more hero in a long line of civil rights advocates, you know? My opposition to the FBI, well, it's definitely not because I want to protect the fascist who tried to coup the election, you know? No, it's actually in memory of my mentor, Martin Luther King Jr.
Over improperly collected tapes is now going after individuals of a different political persuasion, and it was wrong then as it is wrong now.
Yep, see, right here. He's saying the FBI is bad because Hoover writing a letter to tell MLK to kill himself is the same as them investigating Donald Trump for crimes to try to end our democracy. Yep, it's all about that. It's crazy. This guy's entire fucking existence is just cucking out to Trump. Everything that he wants, everything that he believes. It's just, how do I model my entire fucking rhetorical template to sucking dick? Suck, suck, suck. Gluck, gluck.
Bureaucracy
Gluck,
is a
gluck,
formula
glizzy
for
talk.
breeding corruption. And I think the right answer is you can't just...
You gotta do it right. Or you're not doing it at all.
Way that increases effectiveness while reducing cost and corruption. And same thing with the Department of Education. Tilting the scales to 4-year college degrees over 1- or 2-year vocational programs. Holding local schools hostage, saying you don't get that.
He wants to turn people away from degrees and towards vocational programs because people with vocational programs are less likely to vote Democrat. Vocational programs are good and all, but electricians and plumbers are way more likely to vote red than people with actual college degrees.
Money, unless you adopt certain agendas at the local level. That's not useful when the federal government has nothing to do with local education. I'd say shut it down. Give that $80 billion mostly back to the people, to parents, so that every parent can choose to send where their kids actually go to school. And
so this is a repackaging of 1960s era racist school policy. The idea of school choice and charter schools are basically about how do we abandon and stop funding poor inner city schools. The idea being, hey, if you want your child to have a good education, you better like pick them up and drive them over to the good schools that are funded by high property taxes in the region. The consequence of this is that inner city schools would like crumble because they would have no money and fewer students would go there, and the only ones who would still be going there are the ones for whom the parents are too busy or unavailable.
Sodium,
an
S spot for sodium.
It's a way of creating inequality.
Man.
Public education should be free and equal for everyone. It shouldn't even be property taxes. There should be a set amount that every school gets per student in the area, with adjustments made in accordance with local costs and expenses associated with various upkeep. But the idea of it being funded by property taxes basically guarantees, like, yeah, you're in a rich area, you get good schooling. Bad area, you get bad schooling. That's it. You know? This is just busing 2.0. Yeah, it's essentially the same as the busing debate back in the 1960s. You know, one of the first times I heard about this, I was listening to Destiny talk about it, like, fuck, I don't know, a decade ago, where he was talking about his kid, Nathan, and schooling in the Omaha, Nebraska area, where the education was fucked there because all the funding came from, like, property taxes in the area. So if you wanted to get good education, you basically had to go up to, like, it was like North Omaha. I don't fucking know what area.
Mineral survey. Come on, I'm fucking far as fuck from the spot. Come on, show me you knew something.
So disproportionately distributed. Even in Beverly Hills, you know, the public education wasn't like spectacular good because a lot of the people in the area, a lot of like the students would go to private schools. And there's also been a push by conservatives at both a local and a federal level to put public money into private schooling. Remember that, I think it was in Maine or it might have been in Maryland. It started with an M and it was in the Northeast. There was a ruling from the Supreme Court that essentially said, yeah, public tax money should actually also go to private religious schools. You know? You remember that? Anyway, it's cringe. Yeah, the ultimate goal of this is black people all go to shit underfunded schools and public tax dollars are spent on like private Christian schools. Like that's what they want, you know? No matter what they say they want, that is the outcome of their policy.
The tiny sliver that relates to vocational training that they've recently added, move that to the Department of Labor where it belongs. So yes, I do think it's going to take somebody with a CEO mindset, and if I may say, anti-bureaucracy experience to come in and reorganize and gut much of that federal bureaucracy.
He's actually a proletarian hero again because he screwed over the shareholders.
That's not a left-wing idea or a right-wing idea, but it is a fundamentally American idea because we have 3 branches of government in the U.S. Constitution: legislative, executive, and judicial.
Check out this absurd school in my city, less than 20 minutes away from the worst performing schools in the state. Is this going to be that Texas school?
High school. Join us on a tour.
Yeah, I've seen this.
This is the auditorium.
This is the commons.
This is the catwalk. This is the planetarium.
This is senior hall.
Dioxide, I'll take it.
Stockholm High School Library.
This is the Oz hallway. This is the Carmel Cafe and Market.
And by the way, to be clear, I think it's super based that these kids are going to like the schooling equivalent of a mega city, like, or a mega tower from fucking Judge Dredd, you know? I think that's cool as hell. I'm not dissing that at all. The problem is that I know for an absolute fucking fact that within a 30-minute drive of this school, there are probably like 5 hideously poor schools, you know? It's literally just about like the property taxes in the region.
This is the back of the Carmel Cafe.
This is our Carmel Cafe where we had Teddy. This is the varsity gym.
This is the new addition to the Hall of Fame. This is the freshman gym. This is the weight room.
This is the wrestling room, baby.
This is the blue and gold gym. This is the blue and gold track.
This is the field house.
This is the varsity tunnel.
This is part of our wall of...
This video is halfway done. I'm leaving it. This school has its own fucking zip code.
Not this 4th branch of the administrative state where most of the policymaking takes place today. And so I would say that's the top of my domestic agenda.
Wait, did he misspeak? It's not 4th branch of the administrative state. It's 4th branch of government, comma, the administrative state.
Shut down that 4th branch, revive the integrity of our constitutional republic.
So the 4th branch that you're referring to consists of individuals, leadership at least, that's been appointed in the executive branch by the President of the United States. The Department of Education, of course, to give you an example, your favorite politician in the world, Donald Trump, appointed Betsy DeVos, and she engaged in the reversal of certain policies of the Education Department that did seek to help students who had been defrauded by for-profit colleges. So what do you propose happen?
Oh, like Trump University.
In a situation in which students have been defrauded by for-profit colleges like Phoenix Online, ITT Tech, they get an unaccredited nonsense degree that leads to nowhere. They're drowning in debt after being defrauded. How exactly would you deal with those situations with the elimination of the Education Department?
If it is a true case of fraud, that's a violation of the law. They can be prosecuted under the law. They can be sued in civil suits by the people who are defrauded. No different than any other commercial relationship that exists in the private sector. However,
yeah, the problem is that when it comes to something specific like educational fraud, you might want to have a department with the specific expertise to investigate claims like that. Like, you can't expect regular fucking police officers to manage all investigations. I and some other students feel we've been defrauded by this private university. Get Sheriff Wiggums on the job, like what?
With The Simpsons.
To have agencies who have specific expertise when it comes to those kinds of problems.
When you have a bureaucracy,
Sheriff Wiggums, no.
At a moment where school choice programs across the country are underfunded, it's not even close, which is a better use of money. Put that $80 billion.
He said,
"Oh shit! Oh
yeah,
fuck, that was
what he's
good."
actually talking about again, the plan conservatives have for schooling is the unchecked power of Christian conservative schools, private Christian conservative schools. So tax money should go to them. School choice should take people out of like inner city schools and leave them to rot with no money. And if you have like a problem with private schooling, you need to fund your own civil suit, you know?
Budget in the pockets of parents across this country, be about $1.6 billion per state in this union. It's not even close, which is a better use of funds. And I think you avoid a lot of the bureaucratic corruption. And you're right, the people who sit on top of those agencies are appointed by a democratically elected U.S. president. 99.999% of those employees do not fit that description. To the contrary, they're protected by...
Yeah, no shit. You can't have... What? You can't have appointed every single... What? What does that mean?
I think bad policy, but so-called civil service protections that have stopped the U.S. president or the duly elected representatives or even cabinet secretaries from firing those employees, which creates a culture of rot, of laziness, of ineffectiveness, and yes, even of corruption in many of those agencies. And so I have a simple proposition. I think the people who we elect to
This is bullshit, by the way. Okay, what so many people say when they say what so many people mean when they say anti-corruption is that they're anti-bureaucracy. And sorry, bureaucracies are part and parcel to the modern state, and they are necessary. And in many cases, they are good. Bureaucracies allow for literally all of the civic complexity that allows for anything more complicated than fucking feudalism. It is one thing to be anti-corruption. Everyone should.
I gotta build a moat.
But the idea of like, oh
water
yeah, I'm
overflowing.
anti-corruption, by which I mean I don't like the fact that not every bureaucrat in the Department of Education is like fucking personally elected. That's just insane. That's completely insane.
On the government, they ought to be the ones who actually run the government. And if there are people who disagree with me, if they're the people who I don't vote for, I accept that. But we live in a constitutional republic where at least the people who we elect to run the government ought to be the ones who are actually running it, when most of the policy decisions made...
No. You can't elect every single member of every bureaucracy in the federal government. There's 1/3 of 1 billion people in this country. You can't, like, yeah, elect the department undersecretary of the 3rd branch of the office of the local regional... But no, what? This renders democracy meaningless. We have a system where our presidents will appoint the leaders of these federal administrative divisions, and they make hiring decisions accordingly. But the idea that, like, because these bureaucratic office workers are unelected means that they're all making partial political decisions is completely bullshit. The leaders of these administrative departments are appointed in the presidential cabinet. Like, the decisions they're making are being shaped by the leader of the branch.
Regulating our energy sector, to our healthcare sector, to financial markets, to education, come from unelected bureaucrats in the federal government. And that serves neither Republicans nor Democrats nor any American well. And that's going to change on my watch as president.
Whoa! What is the members only video? Why is it the Snow White movie thing? What's going on over there? 2 more and they're both short.
Let's talk a little bit more about school choice. So school choice vouchers, they tend to be statewide programs that take public funding away from public schools and redirects that money to private institutions that do not have to abide by similar standards, education standards that public schools have to abide by. And so how do you consider the lack of standards and how that might play a role?
Getting private schooling in a lot of cases is kind of like a slightly diminished and much more expensive version of being homeschooled, where you'll be really, really, really well educated on some specific subjects, but it'll come at the cost of some weird gaps in your knowledge and also a general social awkwardness. At least in my experience. Though homeschooling leads to it much worse than private education does. And it doesn't always happen that way, of course.
In a system in which voters would not have the right to vote unless, in your dream scenario, they pass a civics test. What if those public dollars are being funneled to certain religious private schools?
Bosch, the members of the cabinet also have to be confirmed by Congress. Yes, but in practice, the president usually gets their free pick of cabinet leaders. Like, the Department of Treasury or whatever may be full of bureaucrats who are not directly elected, but who you put in charge of the department through your appointing as president does have a huge amount of influence in how the department actually behaves. You might say TYT handled this better than outlets like CNN, but I still feel like they're platforming him too much and not challenging him on some stuff. They're challenging him on, like, everything. If this is bad platforming, then I will never be able to do good platforming.
That do a poor job in educating their students about American history, civics, basically what they need to know, the education they need in order to pass the civics test that you think people need to pass in order to be able to vote.
So as it relates to standardized testing as one metric among many, and other metrics also track it, it's actually the reverse that you see that's true. Public schools are badly failing across this country And if you look at the correlation between the schools that
His solution to this is literally to fund them.
How come I can't aim all the way? Oh, fuck, I can't do that with the...
Those are the schools that
There we
achieve
go.
the poorest results 90% of the time across this country. So the irony is if a parent is moving a kid from a school that spends more money per student to a school that spends less money per student, 90% of the time they're moving to a school that actually has higher achievement as it relates to standardized tests.
Bro, what are you doing? Just
So my view, actually,
what the
have a
fuck?
So
Turn
the point
around,
that he's making
bitch.
here- so this is like you
There
know
we
how you
go.
lie with statistics. This is an example of lying with statistics. Schools that are not doing that well on their own funding because they don't receive a lot of money from property taxes get more money per student from the government because the government is trying to supplement the lower amount of money they get from the local property taxes. And as a consequence of that, the way it appears is if you only look at money given by government, the more money a school gets, the worse that school tends to be in terms of educational attainment. But that's because the only money you're looking at is the aid money that's being given to compensate for the lack of money received through property taxes and other normal sources. So this is, again, it's like it's lying through data, basically. You're only taking a look at one source of funding, and it's the source of funding that scales in proportion to how fucked you are beforehand. So the more funding you get, the more fucked you were beforehand. And as a consequence of that, like, it's like, oh, well, actually, the more money you get, the worse you do, you know, which is just bullshit. If you take a look at total money available to a school, you will see a much better representation, like, or a much better, like, correlation between the amount of money they have and, like, how good their students are doing. Does that make sense?
Idea on this. Let's say it's in New York City, where I can give you the actual numbers. It's $40,000 per student per year in the failing public schools, to good charter schools or private schools or even better public schools that are spending $20,000 or $15,000 per student per year.
Because they're getting their money elsewhere. Obviously, it's a private school. Where do you think the money is coming from? No shit. He's like, yeah, if you take a look at like these private rich schools where rich people go, then they're getting less federal money, but they're doing better. What about the other sources of money they're receiving?
I think that parent, that kid, should be able to take half that difference with them. If you put that in the kid's account, invest it normally, that kid graduates with a $250,000 graduation gift. It's not even close what accounts for a better use of money. Now, here's the problem. Those schools that are producing those...
He's just flatly bullshitting here. The idea is like, what if instead of funding the schools, we just let your child move into a charter or private school with Christian conservatives education, where we don't have like a standardized education to teach them that slavery wasn't done by Jews. And at the end of all of it, they'll get all the money they would have gotten given to them in their stead to that federal school, which wouldn't be that much, and it's total nonsense. He's just making shit up.
Poor results, they have one constraint that a lot of those private schools and charter schools don't. Those are teachers' unions.
The number one way everyone lies about schools is that private schools choose their students. Public schools have to take everyone. Yep, it's one of the same reasons that healthcare cost per individual is higher with Medicare than it is with regular private insurance, which leads a lot of people to be like, whoa, Medicare is so inefficient. Why is the cost per person so high with Medicare? Because Medicare has to take fucking all the poor people. Or well, is it all the old people? I actually forget. I mix up Medicare and Medicare. I think Medicare is the old people one, right? In that case, it'd be old people. Same. Both? Oh, I mixed them up. Sorry. Whatever. Medicare is old people mostly. Yeah. Okay. Whatever the case may be, the point of the public insurance system there is that they have to take the people who are either poor or old and are therefore like higher risk insurance cases, whereas private insurance, like I don't know, Kaiser Permanente or whatever, can choose to reject you based on a number of things, and it costs money that you have to have in order to be able to use it. You understand? So in both cases, with education and with healthcare, you see disproportionately worse results in the public option because they have to take everyone.
And so I've had actually both experiences in my own life. I went to a not great public school, 1st through 8th grade, and then my parents decided to work extra hard and make some sacrifices to be able to send me to a private school for high school in Cincinnati. Just look at the last several years. In the COVID pandemic, the Cincinnati public schools were closed for a full year and then almost a full next year. This high school that I went to, there were 4 total days that were closed the entire time. So it's not that COVID only affects kids at public schools or teachers at public schools. To the contrary, these teachers' unions are failing our kids, failing the very constituents the very members of the public they're supposedly serving.
The reason Republicans go after teachers' unions so much is because they don't like teachers, and teachers' unions are a proxy. There are problems with teachers' unions, but they are problems that exist in many bureaucracies all over the place. They are just like systemic issues that are very difficult to deal with and should be dealt with. But again, you know, it's a complicated matter. You know, they go after teachers' unions because they really want to go after teachers. They don't like teachers because they don't like education, because educated people vote blue.
So yes, I do think competition, there's no perfect solution, but I think competition is the next best solution to perfect. And that, I think, is going to hold the public schools teachers' feet to the fire, get rid of those teachers' unions.
Kitty, what are you doing?
Our educational system goes back to being about the achievement of our students rather than employment opportunities for these union members. And that's just the hard truth.
It also lets them be anti-union. Last video, we're doing so well.
You've said that you're against secularism. So which religion should rule us all?
None. That is the answer.
Well,
We
isn't
have a
that
First
secularism?
Amendment. That's not secularism. I think that
That is secularism.
capital S secularism is something that has used a substitute religious-like worldview to foist that affirmatively onto multiple institutions across this country.
Actually, atheism is the real religion, and I know that because atheists believe things sometimes, and believing stuff is like a religion, man.
I think that there are many forcible agendas. If you have to pledge allegiance to a diversity, equity, inclusion agenda as a function.
You don't. You don't have to pledge allegiance to it. That's not how that works.
Of getting a job. I think that is a Title VII violation, civil rights violation today. So I don't believe that there should be any religion, secular, humanism, or otherwise, foisted upon anyone, certainly not through the government.
Okay, so the practical purpose of this rhetoric is him saying, I'm for equality of religion. And for that reason, I don't think we should have the religion of wokeness forced on people. That's it. It really is that stupid and blunt and crude and idiotic. It is that bad. That is what he is saying.
At work, 925,
My view is you have
2000.
free expression in the United States. I'm an ardent defender of religious liberty. Whatever your religion is, you have the right to practice it as long as you're not explicitly harming somebody else.
That's
And the
literally
government-
secularism, Vivek. That's literally the definition of secularism.
Okay, that's actually, well then, Cenk?
Well, no, because if we had secularism, then why is it that people are woke? Why do people believe in gods like diversity and tolerance?
I would say is respectfully, whatever word you use to describe it. Now, I've written a whole book about this, and so we can debate the vocabulary. But in
The
concept,
book!
I believe that every
Give me the
religion
link.
should be practicable in the United States with religious liberty as long as you're not harming somebody else. And the government can't
Can I build like a
establish any one
pole
religion
or
as the
something
governing religion for the United
to make
States
it
of
look like
America.
my
And
house
yet,
is standing
the Biden
up?
administration has established diversity, equity, and inclusion as the
Like a
religion
foundation
of
pole.
America. Wokeness and critical race theory and transgender are the religions of America. Yes, he is describing secularism. He just wants to frame wokeness as a religion.
Good news,
That
that's
simple.
in the U.S.
That's what the Constitution says.
That's
Yeah,
exactly right.
I
That's
believe
finally
the
got
Constitution. That's why
dioxide.
The U.S. Constitution is considered
That's good enough.
the first secular constitution. But okay, now we've all done our literacy and civics test.
Well, look, I think it's in the First Amendment for a reason. Free speech, free
Dioxide
expression,
Gliz Farm,
freedom
beautiful.
of religious choice, and non-establishment. Yes, those are foundational to our constitutional
Gluck,
republic.
gluck.
I do think that many of
Vivek failing his civics test again.
Yeah, I think it's time for Farm Simulator. It might be time for Farm Simulator Spider-Man 2. Oh, Spider-Man 2 is coming out in a couple hours. Oh, shit. What time exactly? 9 p.m., right? 3.5 hours. Yep, 9 p.m. I'll probably play some... I really want to play Trepang 2. Fucking sucked mad dick my first play session, but it's pretty fun. I at least want to finish it on normal. I'll play Farming Simulator, Postal. Oh, I got so much shit I want to play. So much dick I want to play with it. Phosphorus. Do we have any more? Nope. That's fine. Got a lot of uranium. Got a lot of dick. Got a lot of cock on me. You don't want to see it. It's dangerous, hey. And then the last pot is gonna be cooking up the delicious vegetable stew. I gotta mix the fibrous stew and the awesome sauce. Kelp sack. What the fuck does this make? Kelp rice? That shit looks mad good. Oh, I put it in the fucking, hold on. Ingredient storage. Put that bitch in there. I can cook salt? Hold up. No, I can't. Well, that's about it. My fucking camera, Jesus, stay still! Fuck! Materials, crystal sulfide, get in there. I'll put the silicone in there. I'm gonna double up on my supplies. Copper. Chromatic metal. Sodium. All the extra shit I'm gonna put down here. Sulfurine. Radon. Nitrogen combo. Pyrite. Oxysilicate. Hey. We got the Nugum. The nuggets. Little chicken nuggets. Got that little chicken nugget on me. You want to see it? See my little chicken wing. Ooh, put that chicken in my booty hole. Exocraft. I gotta get my Exocraft. They have shit in them. Okay, I'm not gonna use the Pilgrim anymore. Fuck that. Minotaur is too good. Okay. You get over there. You give me your materials. Maria, Maria. I'll put the kelp in there. Put that kelp on me. Atlantium. I'm so fucking rich. I have everything I ever wanted. Units, nanite. Well, I don't have enough nanites. I need like 7 million nanites. 7 fucking million to upgrade 1 cargo storage slot on a starship. That is fucking insane. I think I'm gonna finish the story mode, but I don't know, man. I'm not gonna have time. Got Spider-Man coming out. What's this? Neural stimulator. What about that down there? Hey, get that little old thing. Get that little old thing back there. Let me see that asshole, boy. Show it to me. Life support tanks. Sprint distance, life support tanks. Yeah, this is all extra shit. Ooh! I think I'm gonna increase my cargo storage. Oh, I got... How many more rows do I have? Fuck. 1, 2, 3, 4 more rows. That's a lot. I already got my frigate. I want to max out my frigate. I want to get a bunch of S and A class. I need more industrial and combat, guys. I think that's what I need to do next. I want to get all the shit that I know how to... Because the game introduced me so much shit to do at once. They gave me the freighter, mining. They gave me, like, the multi-tool, combat, sentinels, planet discovery, language... and salvaging, building, refining, cooking, so much shit. I felt like they could have introduced that to me at a slower pace so I could have learned it much faster and better. But we're here. I'm just a little slow, I guess. I don't know, man. Investigate the signal. Oh, that's that shit. Base computer archives. Let's go back to Cluck Cluck. Oh no, the hidden Gliz village. Let's hang out there. Did my shit finish refining already? It did. What? That was fast. Platinum, where you at? You dumb bitch. Platinum, you dumb whore. Go! Nanite. Food! Give me that food! Not your food, your food! Stop throwing your food in my face, I want your food! I'm hungry! I want food, not food, I can't eat food! I must eat food! Give me your food. Food, food, food. Give me your dud. I want your cud. Got my ferret dust. Got my little... There we go, get that ass in there. Alright. I'm gonna get ready for Spider-Man. I got shit to do. Oh, God. Oh, Spider-Man 2.
My